So it is with a confused heart that I finally do a walkthrough video on the Constellation system. System of ships, that is. We're gonna cover the Andromeda, the Aquila, and the Phoenix today, walking through them and talking about them. We're gonna talk about them, and my heart is only heavy because they have a history of problems. And those problems are the one thing that stopped these ships from being one of the most superior single pilot multi-use ships, single crew multi-use ships that allow you to do a whole bunch of stuff by yourself, but also add friends if you want to. So first of all, there's a 96 grid for cargo. You can get in the ship that way. You can also put quite a few vehicles on the elevator if you're trying to mine or do shenanigans or stuff like that. But it would be remiss without saying that sometimes with elevators, well, let's just say they're less reliable than ramps. You get in the ship primarily this way through the elevator. It's not the most graceful or fast elevator, but I suppose it's fine. Also, it doesn't, like, what is this gap? Anyway, that's hardly the problem. The Andromeda has the largest weapons and missile package, and has two size 2 shields. It has the same base shields as a Freelancer. So let's get in and turn the lights on, shall we? It has an excellent interior, a pretty good looking exterior, and it has the largest set of weapons that a pilot can control, which is one of the reasons why it's one of the best. It's one of the reasons why it's one of the best solo ships for a player who wants to, you know, fight and do things in a ship that's larger than a small fighter, but also wants to have a ship large enough to haul cargo once in a while, and of course invite their friends and do other things. Unfortunately, it doesn't fill that niche quite the way you want it to, because it has holes in its shields, because there are HUD bugs, because the fighter on the back doesn't work correctly. It's a long list of things that break our hearts, because otherwise these ships are exquisite. The Andromeda has 2 turrets, so that's where your buddies and pals will go, which give it a pretty high DPS. Oh, the weapons, by the way, are 4 size 4 gimballed mounts, which means you can fix them for size 5. But that gives you a base DPS of 2600, which is a lot. It's a lot. And actually, in the Andromeda, even with the holes in its shields, it's pretty easy to farm AI bounties for tons of money. This table, I think they broke the table back at 3.5. It used to come out. No, 3.7 actually, I think it broke. Here's crew lockers. Ooh. I love things opening and closing on ships. This is your cargo area. Your elevator can go up and down, of course, in space. The Andromeda has like 50 missiles or something insane. They're not very big missiles, but having so many of them means that you can just keep firing away over and over again. Let's close this before some crazy thing happens. You know how players are. This is Bordeaux, dangerous place. And in the back here we have the fighter ship, which right now is a Kruger Archimedes. Don't get in it. It's bugged. You'll be lucky if you can get out. And when they solve docking technology, it will work great. So the interior is cool and simple. It's easy to get in and out of, which makes it nice for lots of reasons. Oh, and we have 2 docking collars here on the sides. Well, airlocks. I think they might also be docking collars. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter yet, anyway. But it's a ship that's really easy to do missions in, and all kinds of fun can be had in them. They just break our hearts in the verse because of some weird quirks. One of the Andromeda's big ones is that this cool glass nose that you have is problematic when you're sitting in the pilot seat, because in the center of your vision are these giant metal struts, which isn't always a problem, but is sometimes just really annoying depending on what you're trying to look at. Also, your whole HUD can blur out on this ship, also depending on what you're looking at. Now, the 2 turrets is nice, the large weapons package is nice, and the fact that they're all gimballed is nice right out of the gate. The shields, the 2 size 2 hard points, gives you 43k starting, and it also gives you a lot of room to upgrade if you want to. And obviously having a literal army of missiles is cool. All in all, the Andromeda, I think, is my favorite of all the Connies. Oh, that's, by the way, that's, you can close all these vents with K. The animations are cool too. I think the Andromeda is the best of all of the Connies, because even though it'll sometimes break your heart, and you probably don't want to go fighting players because they'll melt you faster than you think, having these big, large weapons, I mean, they're big. Also, you can, it's one of the best ships for sniping with these big weapons, so you can you can shoot enemies from a further range than almost any other ship. So that's what makes this ship exciting. The pilot gets to control more weapons, not a higher quantity of weapons, but more larger weapons than in any other ship. I'm pretty sure that's true. Also, I mean, it's very dramatic. I mean, this whole cockpit, it's just filled with drama, and I mean that in a good way. Like, it's exciting. So that's the Andromeda. You got 96 things of cargo, 2 size 2 shields, 4 size 4 gimballed weapons, an excellent look, although quite a few bugs with the HUD and the shields and the table, and those sort of things break our heart. And also these stupid struts. Ugh. But let's look at the other ones, shall we? The Constellation Aquila is the expedition variant of the Constellation series. It has the exact same weapon and shield hardpoints. It has a lot of missiles like the Andromeda, but it's like 20 less, but that's still a lot. So it still has a poop ton. It has the exact identical shields as the Andromeda, but weaker weapons. Also, the weapons on this ship overheat really easily in the base package, which is a huge downer. It only has 1 turret, because one of these turrets is actually a scanning turret and not a weapons turret. I don't remember which one, but I guess let's find out. Also, in the flavor text, it's supposed to come with an Ursa rover, but, well, you can see that's not true. It has the same ship in the back that doesn't work, the same exact cargo grid. Look at this lighting, though. Oof. Oh, yeah. I mean, on the list of things that we like in Star Citizen, the lighting is at the top. But most importantly, the Aquila has the sexiest glass. So they moved those 2 struts apart and they made it circular, semicircular, and it is very attractive. It almost makes you wonder why they didn't just put that on the other one. And in fact, the fact that it's present here makes its lack of presence in the Andromeda that much more tragic.
Welcome to Roberts Space Industries. Enjoy the ride. System check.
And so we can put that on the list of things that bum us out about the Constellation series. Yeah, look, 24 missiles, boom, right out of the gate. That's so many. So the fact that it's a bunch less, it's like half as many. Yeah, 24 total.
Thank you, and please visit again.
So as you know, and as I've said in 40 million videos about the exploration ships, that game mechanic isn't really implemented yet, so there's not that much you can do about it. The weapons are the same fat hard points, which means you have pretty good DPS, but as you can see, they're already overheating and have stopped firing. And that's it. That's all it takes.
Weapons system critical.
So the coolers aren't even close to max out on this ship, so I don't exactly know why they overheat, but I would recommend upgrading them. So I'm in the top turret now, and as you can see, it's not a weapon turret. It's got like this radar dish stuff on it, and it's pretty cool actually. But like the DUR and the Terrapin and the drones in lots of ships, the drones. It's just one of those exploration mechanics that doesn't exist yet. But one day. Honestly, the Aquila is, I think, the best looking one, especially because of this really sleek cockpit. I just wish you could put that glass on the Andromeda, because its base weapon package is so much nicer, because the exploration doesn't mean anything just yet, and because you get like 30 more missiles. All in all, it's still a decent ship if you want to go out and do stuff with it, but you're going to get annoyed pretty quickly trying to fight with these weapons overheating, so you're going to have to address that first. And, of course, last and maybe least, the Constellation Phoenix, which is the luxury variant of the Constellation line. It has almost identical weapons to the Aquila in terms of DPS. It's back up to 2 turrets, fighting turrets, with a pretty generous distortion weapons package on them. Again, the same shields, and a few less missiles, but still quite a few. It has a cargo area, but it's smaller because the height is limited, because the space above it is used. Sorry about this flashing. There's criminals being hunted by Port Olisar right now. I'm just glad it's not me this time. So as you can see, there's a floor right there. So it's not as tall straight up. Of the luxury ships, I find this one to be... how do I say this? The ugliest. There's something about the obvious retrofit nature of a warship and exploration ship with cargo hauling capabilities that being retrofitted for a luxury ship, that's sort of obvious. It's kind of like a lipstick on a pig situation. The cockpit is the same aesthetically as the Andromeda, and it's good looking, although it has that strut problem. And then in the back, we have this luxury area. Now, as I've said on many other walkthroughs of luxury vehicles, one day it will be a game mechanic that you will be able to haul around fancy pants people for money. Essentially like a private jet scenario. And that is an exciting game prospect. And there's something to like about the bar and this, what is it, space ping pong? What's going on here? That's a chair. That's a chair inside my table. Well, that's not right. There's something to be said about that this is exciting, and there's a hot tub, and you like it, and it's fancy and shiny. But again, the exterior just isn't as good looking because it's, you know, lipstick on a pig. It has this same ship in the back, which also, again, doesn't function. I find the whole thing, it's nice, but it's not what I want. It's not what I'm looking for in a ship. Now, if it's what you want, then I don't hold anything against you. Man, they're just going to town, aren't they? They might be stuck. Sometimes the turrets just get stuck shooting at a target they've long killed. You know how turrets are. Of all of the constellations, it's the one that I probably won't ever own. Unless hauling around fancy people becomes an amazing game mechanic. In which case, this ship is going to be the best entry-level ship for that job. Because it's a hell of a lot cheaper than a 600i or an 890 jump. And the white coat of paint doesn't even look that bad, but there's something about the fact that it's trying to look sleeker when it's obviously an industrial design that I find unsettling. But if you don't, that's your business. All in all, the Constellation lines are desperately trying to take the crown of being the best solo ships with the most utility that also allow players to play with some friends. It's what I call the Goldilocks niche of space, because it makes it easy to play with your friends or with a group, which makes it easy not to think about which ship you're going to take out. You already know. You already have the answer. The only problem with the Connies is that they are plagued by weird little problems, like holes in the shields and HUDs and struts in the way. The turrets used to not work, but I haven't had a problem with them lately. The table that doesn't come up, or just the weird mismatched interior of this luxury ship. Also, this is where an elevator is. I mean, that's kind of weird. They are good ships, and I would still fly them. Uh-oh, am I trapped? Help! They are good ships, and I would still fly them. If you're looking into them, I recommend the Andromeda, which has the best weapons and missile package, because the Aquila's overheating is really infuriating. And the smaller cargo bay in this one makes it harder to fit vehicles and do other things, which are good for shenanigans. Even though the Andromeda has the annoying struts in the way. I mean, the glass on the Aquila is just very attractive. But you can also rent these ships, which I recommend doing before picking them up. Because the truth is, they are really, I mean, like the description says, although Chris Roberts probably wrote it himself, they are iconic. And they're cool looking, and they can do a lot. They just have so many weird little issues that you wind up getting tilted flying them. And if you don't, then lucky you, because you have a great ship on your hands. So I hope this helps, and happy hunting.